Hi, I'm Mark Loftus. Thanks for joining me for another Post TV podcast. In this episode, I'm joined by Heath Firestone at Firestone Studios. Heath has been a regular contributor to Post for many years and has produced Post TV at NAB for a number of years as well. Here, he's making an exciting announcement. He's launching his own website, CinemaTechnica.com. Heath, thanks for joining us and look forward to hearing about the new website.
Thanks, Mark. It's always good talking to you.
Yeah, so we've known each other a while, and I know that you've got a background in production and post, and now you're kind of getting into content creation from your own website standpoint. What was the inspiration behind that?
Well, so I've been doing reviews for Post magazine for a really long time, and I've been wanting to do video reviews, and we've talked about it, but just yeah, it never really worked out for various reasons. And so I thought, well, what's a way that I can maybe do this and still work with Post and maybe go a little bit outside of the scope of what Post does, because I have a lot of personal interests that I wanted to pursue. And so over the it's been a long time that we've been developing this, and you and I have talked about it for a long time as well. And I was like, well, I want to do a lot more with this. And originally it was like, well, maybe I'll just do a YouTube channel. And I was like, no, there's a lot of stuff that doesn't necessarily just fit into a YouTube thing. Not all the content I want to do is going to be videos. I thought, well, maybe we can actually create a website, and maybe that expanded from there because I wanted to do more things on the website and wanted to have a reason for people to go to the website, and just kind of got bigger and bigger and turned into what the idea is now, I guess.
Okay, I know that you have a number of different components to it. You're going to have your own blog where you're kind of like talking about things that interest you and issues in the industry and new technology. I know that you're going to have videos and reviews, like you mentioned. You've got a couple of different components that are interesting. Do you want to like talk about some of the highlights?
Yeah, I'm going to bring up the website now so you can get a idea what it looks like. So the main page kind of is your landing page and stuff, and it's going to have links to the various to my blog, which will be more of my personal interests and stuff. Then there'll be a section for the reviews, and a lot of this stuff is going to be sent to Post as well, so you might see it on Post as well as CinemaTechnica. And then I will have a section for news for just the stuff that, like I say, Post covers Post in a lot more detail than I'm interested in in some aspects, but also I have a lot more of a interest in a lot of the actual production side as well. So it's going to have the stuff that, like I say, this is my website, so it doesn't have to cover as much stuff, or it can be a little less specific as well. And so that's what this is going to cover. It's going to be your landing page. But as we develop this and we're writing scripts and coming up with ideas for content for it, it started to get broader and broader. And so in addition to it just being a blog and a review site, we decided, well, I had a lot of people who were expressing interest in their creators who are wanting to know how to actually do production, and they aren't necessarily. Well, okay, they don't know where to go, and there's a lot of good stuff on YouTube, but a lot of times it's a little too professional or too amateur or something else, and they kind of wanted to know my perspective on it. I'm like, okay, fine, I can create that. I taught a lot of different classes at film schools. It's my background, and yeah, so to me, it's like, okay, great. There's a lot of things that I haven't seen done the way that I want to do it and stuff. So I guess it's a place for people, what you would have learned in film school had you gone to film school. And so that's what that section is going to be about. And then my son is really getting interested in filmmaking, has been for the last, 2 or 3 years. And I noticed that kids use different tools than adults do when they're making films. Instead of using DSLR camera or professional camera or any of those things, generally they're filming things on an iPhone or an Android phone or a GoPro or something like that. And it's totally different tools you end up using, from even the editing tools you use are different than you would teach somebody who's trying to do it as a professional creator. And my wife was like, why don't you do a section for kids? Because, yeah, it's a different target. So I realized that Post, has, that professional thing. But, I want to appeal to, I guess, a larger audience based on my personal experiences, I guess.
It's funny because you'll hear even today about people shooting music videos and stuff using the iPhone. So, I mean, it's not that far away from becoming professional.
Well, and that's true. And so I guess some other aspects of what I want to do with it is there's I've met a lot of interesting people over the years, and I'm sure you have as well. But some of them were people who are kind of behind the scenes people on some of these really cool projects, and I thought it'd be great to interview some of them just to have a candid conversation, not necessarily about what they're working on now, but just kind of the cool projects they've worked on or the fun stuff that they can share. And so we have a section that's going to be interviews where, hopefully I get some really cool people to interview. I know some people I definitely intend to interview. So that'll be a fun section as well. That I don't know, just I'm into that sort of thing, and I think other people would appreciate it.
So like
too, I
one-on-one
guess.
type of things, interview.
Right. Yeah, exactly. They'll probably be, Zoom interviews for the most part, but not necessarily all of them,
Hmm.
And yeah, so
And you're going to have a forum section also where people can post questions and topics and comment on.
yes, and that's actually one of the things. I wanted to. I've been involved in a lot of different I guess beta testing groups and stuff over the years.
Mhm.
I beta tested for Adobe and Matrox and Discrete for a while, and just a bunch of different things. And the best beta test groups that I was involved had really good dialogue between the people who were actually in the groups. You got to become friends with the people, and every once in a while you run into them. Actually, I've run into them at the post booth before. People I'd never met in person, but I look down and I see the name tag. I'm like, hey, you were, a beta tester on this. And like, oh, you're Heath, and it goes
Yeah.
back and forth and stuff. And so, it's cool when you have that kind of rapport with other, I guess, professionals, people we've worked with. Well, I know there's lots of forums out there, and I used to be a forum host for a couple of the Creative Cow, forums and stuff. And it's a great resource and stuff. But I wanted to, I don't know, I guess create my own forums for things that are very specialized to, I guess, my weird background and stuff, And so one of them, and is, it kind of started with an idea of doing a GoPro for professionals, because every professional I know uses GoPros, but I've run into some really tricky situations working them into professional workflows, especially when you're doing the time code or trying to sync things and all sorts of stuff. And so it's hard when you're trying to find that information online, because you're sifting through a huge database of people asking stuff that's non-professional questions to try to
Mhm.
find these professional things. And so I wanted to have a place where people could go to talk about stuff that's a little more specific to professional stuff. So that was one of the first ones. And some of these are 4K and beyond. I think everything's 4K and beyond now. But when I first started working on it, I was actually, I've done stuff for AMD and stuff where I was working with some of their unreleased super high-end graphics cards and stuff. And I was doing stuff where I was dealing with 8K before 8K was really available on anything except for Red. And it was challenging because Red, was a proprietary codec, so there was no way of writing back to it. And this is before H.265 had implemented 8K output capabilities and stuff. So it would have been nice to have a place to go where there were other people who were dealing with some of these same issues, or if you have a community who are really tied into this stuff, to have that, I don't know, that avenue where you can communicate with those people. And I'm always messing with new technologies and stuff, and trying out high-end graphics cards and machines and all sorts of stuff. So I figure these are all things that there's, like I say, you can go to Linus Tech Tips or something like that, but it's, once again, that's mostly aimed at gaming or standard users and stuff, whereas I want something a little more specific to people who are doing videos and stuff, but not as specific as like a Red forum or something, something that's a little broader. I don't know.
Right.
I'm hoping that the forums will take off, because I think it could be a great community resource, so.
Yeah. What is some of the content that you're launching with? Do you have any reviews or any blogs or anything that you would call attention to as some of the first content that you've got up there? Anything interesting?
So right now, I've just got a couple of my more recent reviews and stuff,
Mhm.
including the Wacom review that's posted up there. But we've got a whole bunch of contents that's in the pipeline. Some of them are ready to go. Some of them aren't. I'm not posting them yet because as we launch the channel, I want to be releasing content regularly. So we kind of already have, so I don't want to put it all on there first. It'll be
Yeah.
released over the, a couple a week, type thing over the next Yeah.
So, but you'll be updating steadily across all of these different components of the site, whether it's a blog or a video review or any of that stuff you've got
Yeah,
planned.
exactly. Yeah, we've got. I think last time I checked, we had over 150, topics that we're going to be covering. So I mean, it's broad enough that obviously, we've got to have several for each of the different ones. But we've got enough content for, I'd say at least a year are already in various stages. Some of them are written, some of them are already shot. So in various stages, some of them will actually make it fully to video. Some will just be, blog post, that sort of thing. But most of them are going to be videos.
Cool. So again, we should direct viewers to cinematechnica.com, and there's no charge to access the site or anything. It's all free right at the get-go.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Well, Heath, thanks for giving us some insight into the new launch. Look forward to seeing some of the content. A lot of this content we will be sharing on the Post website as well. So we benefit from it as well, which is exciting. And look forward to seeing what's coming up down the road.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks for joining us.